Welcome back. We're having a great time in the studio this afternoon. Nancy Tester is here, and also Grace Avants. Is that good?
Avants. Yes.
Oh, right.
I said it correctly. Avants.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, nobody heard you say it correctly.
Avants.
And they heard me say it correctly, so I get the credit.
All right, whatever. See what I have to put up with. And you're with the Twin Lakes Literacy Council?
Yes.
Why are you involved with the Literacy Council? Tell us about that.
Well, I struggled in math a lot.
With math?
With math.
Okay, you and me both. This was before, and I didn't have calculators when I was in school.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's awful.
You know what we had?
awful.
We had abacuses. You know what an abacus is?
No, I do not.
You need to look that up in the online. Type in abacus.
Abacus.
Okay.
And he was limited because when he uses these fingers and toes, he'd run out of fingers and toes to count.
To count, I'd have to
Okay.
cross my toe, one toe for every 10. And I gave up after, so I couldn't count only up to 100.
So math is hard for you?
Yes.
And so what did you do?
You needed help?
Well, yes, I went to the Literacy Council, and my tutor, Miss Deanna, taught me multiplication facts. Now, on my first day, I was so scared. But then, like 3 weeks later, I knew my multiplication facts, I knew my division facts.
Now, when you say a fact, what's
Like
a fact?
multiplication facts, like 6 times 2.
2 times 2, right?
Yeah, 2 times 2 and 6 times 6. And
I think we used to call that the multiplication table.
Probably. Is that what
Yeah.
that is, Nancy? Is that basically the same thing?
it's the same thing.
And so you...
3 weeks.
About 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Wow.
Because Miss Deanna taught me these really funny stories, and I got them stuck in my head. So
To
now
make
I
you
know.
remember those, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think at some point, as I was talking about this very same thing to one of my friends a couple weeks ago, and we were doing the multiplication tables. He was saying 6 times 7 is 42. But I mean, that sticks in your head, but you have to
Yeah.
memorize it somewhere along the way, and they do it as early as they can. And when it's in there forever.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So that's what you had to do. Now, Nancy, why did she have trouble with math?
Well, her mom called and thought that she would benefit from having a tutor. And of course, Deanna loved Grace immediately. But they have a neat way of teaching it. Instead of just with flashcards, you learn the story, and the story's kind of
Okay.
funny.
Yeah.
And so if you're good at reading the way Grace is, these stories really catch your attention, and she thought they were funny.
Yeah.
It was an effortless way to
Yeah.
learn it, I think, for her.
And it's I guess it's kind of ironic. Some people excel at reading where they have a problem with math. Unlike me, I have trouble with everything. So do you love to read?
I love reading sometimes. No, sometimes I don't read that much, but like we have reading assignments for my teacher. But sometimes I don't do it.
Just don't like to do
I
it.
just don't want to do it. I'm too lazy.
Just lazy.
I'm just lazy. I'm like, oh, I'm going to kick back and watch TV. Oh, I'm not
There
going
you
to do
go.
anything.
What grade are you in, Grace?
Fifth.
Fifth. So the Literacy Council, is it primarily for just reading and math, or?
And we also do English, and
Okay.
some adults learn computers.
Oh,
But math is kind of a special subject, and people that struggle with math, it's very difficult for them, and having somebody work with you one-on-one is it's a good avenue, it's a good intervention. And Deanna and Grace seem to have fun because they play a lot of games together to help her remember. And of course now they're doing fractions. Fractions are hard for everybody.
Fractions
Oh, yeah.
is pretty hard. We had to do a math sheet, which is fractions, and I didn't understand because it was like 2 out of fifths and that stuff, and I didn't understand. So me and Miss Deanna are working on fractions now. So
And you feel like you can take that information back to school then and apply it? That's wonderful.
that is wonderful. It is.
Now these extracurricular activities for students, is it covered by the school or is it not?
No, as a matter of fact, we raise money to help the kids. We're really fortunate in Baxter County to have a lot of volunteers. And so the state no longer helps with the children's program, they only help with adults. But because we had so many volunteers for the children's program, we wanted to keep it going. And for the last 5 years, we're doing fine. And we feel like it's really important because if you don't get the help when you're a kid, then you really struggle
You
as an
do struggle.
adult.
It's harder to learn. Yeah.
It's harder.
So,
But you still have adult literacy programs too through your
yeah.
agency? Okay.
yeah. This year, I think we tutored 86 adults and 41 children. Wow. So, the volunteers
Yeah,
have.
right. Not just you personally. So, is there anything of need you need other than get the word out about your program? Are you needing more people to tutor?
Volunteers?
Yeah, we have a waiting list for the children's program of people who haven't been set up yet, and I know that they
The
need
volunteers
help.
that need to be, they have to go through a process, don't they, of learning?
Yes, we provide free training. Every volunteer has a background check, but they don't have to be a teacher in order to be effective. They just have to have a desire to help somebody else and have a love for their student. And I think the person knows how the volunteer feels about them, and that's 90% of it.
Okay.
And it's one-on-one tutoring on all of your programs for the adults too? Or?
Yes, for the English program, there are some conversation classes for English, but the rest of it's all one-on-one. And it's really kind of neat to watch the relationship develop between the tutor and the student. And sometimes, you know, Grace and Deanna have been tutoring for about a year now, maybe a little bit longer.
Maybe, I think, a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half.
I think I started probably last year.
Yeah. So it's a really long-term relationship.
That's good.
It's neat to watch.
So you need more volunteers, though, it sounds like.
Yes, we do. And so if people wanted to call the Literacy Council, I knew if they saw Grace, everybody would want to volunteer.
Yes.
So our phone number is 425-7323. And they fill out an application, and then they do an orientation, and then we'll provide them with training. They can either do a training session, or they can, a lot of people also do observations, and they could watch Deanna and Grace have a lesson together and
cool.
helps them
Yeah.
understand what to do.
That's good.
But
Well, we appreciate you coming by.
thank you.
Nice to
You're
meet you,
like the
Grace.
spokesmodel for
Yeah.
Literacy Council. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
This could be a start of a whole new career for you.
Yeah.
And I like the sparklies on your shirt.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And when you leave here today, go look up abacus.
Okay,
And see what
I
that is,
will.
and you'll be amazed at how people used to learn how to add, subtract.
Back when Dan was at
Yes, when I
about
was
your
in school.
age.
You know, that actually, I think it was the Chinese or the
believe it
Orientals.
was Chinese.
Yeah, that's how they did their adding and
Do you know how to
subtracting
spell
stuff.
that?
ABACUS, I think is that's how you spell it.
In case you need to.
Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Up next, we're going to talk with Sue Whittington. She's going to be talking about a benefit for Andrew Gilpin. Stay with us.